All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, the fine print's out of the way. It's time to roll with the show. Man, wasn't that quick. I noticed a little bit of a change in the bumper music there, negating a bumper ad, and just kind of getting right into things. Still threw up the disclaimer, obviously, for those in the chat. You do see the link for Nokta Makro Detectors website in the link there in the chat. And we are very glad to see that Chuck has entered the building. Hopefully he can stick around this time. Obviously, Sunday he was hoping to make it in and just was not able to make it in. So links in the description. First and foremost, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors. Chuck Smalley, the man with the plan, the dealer of choice, the dealer that we promote here. Multi-line dealer. Very, very good customer service. Definitely very good customer service. He'll get those orders out to you just as quick as he can, one way or the other. Our friends over at DETECTEES.com, Ken, Mark, Darth, Buddy, and the gang, XTREME Scoops, TheRingFinders, Ohio, Metal Detecting NYC, Crazy Spider Adventures, Detected Outdoors, and, the electrolysis boot camps, and obviously there is a link in the description too that will carry over for the website to Nokta Makro Detectors. And obviously want to take a moment to say very, very appreciated. Our guest tonight is just an absolute fireball. I mean, it's 3 a.m. her time. So we're talking into the future. I'm going to be jet lagged by the end of the show and everything, but to get up in the middle of the night like that to do a show just continues to exemplify the dedication and passion that she has when it comes to talking about Nokta Makro machines. I mean, I'm just, it never ceases to amaze me when I see the live videos that she does, the videos that people get of her at different events and things like that. Always so energetic and on the move. I don't know. Maybe it's a lot of coffee. Maybe it's a lot of caffeine. Maybe we don't want to see what she's like on caffeine and coffee. She could be 10 times more the fireball than she is. But we are very, very glad tonight that Dilek has taken the time to sit down with us and kind of catch everybody up on what all's been going on with Nokta Makro. So let's get her in here too. How is it going, this evening, this morning? I'm really not sure. How's it going for you?
Hi, Josh. By the way, hi, Chuck, and hi, all the listeners, whoever's out there. I'm not following the chat. It's going really well. It's going really well. I mean, except for this whole corona situation that everybody has been experiencing worldwide, it's been going very well. The company has been, open. The factory has been open during the corona time, so very little changed in my life, so to speak. I've been going to work. We have been working on, projects. Production has been going on, shipping and all that. And our sales are still increasing regardless of the corona situation. So, yeah, everything is going very well on the Nokta Makro end.
And that's one thing I gotta say. Kudos to Nokta Makro. When COVID came up, we did notice here stateside that some manufacturers may not have been able to keep up with supply and demand, I guess you could say, due to delays in parts coming in and things of that nature, where dealers were starting to run out of stock and not be able to order more stock. But Nokta Makro seems to have hung in there very, very well.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were very lucky to have a lot of inventory in terms of components and all that. So we didn't really have any supply issues, to be honest with you. The only delays we had was due to the fact that, we had to increase our lead times a bit, not too long. That's just because, we are over 220 people right now. So during the corona times, we had to cut down on the number of people at the factory. So we were not working full, capacity in terms of the number of, production employees. So that increased our lead times, but we did, the rest actually did overtime and all that to catch up with the demand. And the only other delays we really experienced was because of the freight companies, delaying shipments.
Right.
But other than that, I think we did pretty well, given the situation.
I think you guys did phenomenally well compared to what we saw over here. I mean, we knew that obviously there was going to be delays with shipping, and really here stateside, I think some of the shipping companies are still trying to work out something, because we do still see some delays by some of them. But for the most part, everything has kind of smoothed back out, and I really haven't heard of people experiencing, extreme issues like, oh, I'd really love to get my Nokta Makro product, but my dealer can't get it. We haven't heard of anything like that. I have seen some posts, though, where people say, what gives here? Because I can have a package shipped from Turkey to the U.S., and it gets here in 3 days, but I can ship it 2 states away, and it takes 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. I get that comment a lot too. Sometimes, when we ship, especially like if we ship a part or a replacement, whatever, to a customer, sometimes like when they get it, they're like, oh my God, this, like, how could this be? Like, I have my package already in 2 days. And, sometimes, when I request something from a U.S. company, it takes weeks to get it. I mean, we really try our best, Josh, to, make customers happy and ship everything on time. But of course, during the corona times, there were circumstances that were just like, had nothing to do with us, out of our hands with the freight companies and all that, because you have to understand, I mean, because the commercial flights had not been flying, it was so hard to ship internationally. So the freight companies like UPS or whatever had major delays. I mean, it had nothing to do with us. They would like pick the goods from us, but not ship it, because let's say they would have to give priority to medical supplies and all that, so they would just keep it, and not ship it for, let's say, a week, 2 weeks sometimes. So yeah, I mean, the only delays we experienced was mostly majorly due to the freight companies, struggling during the Corona times.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But that, it seems like that has not affected, Nokta Makro kind of keeping their ear to the ground, so to speak, listening to the customer feedback. Because that's another thing. I mean, with the simplex, I was just absolutely amazed at the response from Nokta Makro based on their customer feedback and releasing updates as quick as they have been for that machine. It's a very good, stable machine.
It is. It is. Simplex has been doing very well for us worldwide, and yeah, I mean, I personally have been, following the, comments, feedbacks, whatever, and we've been working on updates because we had promised that to our customers. And yes, we released actually 1, 2, 3 feedbacks back to back. I would say the first 2 were like 2 days apart.
Right.
So the first actually update that we released, did I say feedback? Sorry, update. The first update we released was 2.76 with a lot of new features added. Actually, I mean, I don't even know if you can really call this an update, because this update is has turned the machine into I would say, another machine.
Yeah, it was already good to begin with, but with that update, it just got better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many new features. There's, there is depth increase, yeah, I mean, it added so much to the machine that it added so much and changed the machine so much that some people actually had a hard time, I think, adjusting to it. And, I've been telling them, take your time. Just forget that you had a simplex and pretend like you just bought a simplex and learn it again.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, especially with incorporating the extra hunt pattern.
Yep. And then, when we released the first update, one of the of course, I mean, the update brought new features, and we tried to actually fix some of the stuff that people were complaining about. And one complaint about the simplex was that it was too loud when you use it with the wired headphones. So what we did in the 2.76, we optimized that volume level. But once we released that update, now we got a different bunch of customers. Well, at least I'm assuming it's a different bunch of customers, saying that it's not loud enough now. So, and another complaint we got after we released the update was that, the simplex runs on 12 kilohertz frequency, right?
Right.
And that actually frequency is the same frequency that many pinpointers are using in the market, including our Nokta Makro pinpointer. So people were expecting that the update would kind of bring a solution to the interference. And I've been trying to explain to customers who contacted me directly, saying that that's not going to happen through a software update. Sometimes you cannot just resolve things, through a software update. Sometimes it takes more than that.
Right. It's not that simple.
Yeah, exactly. So once we released 2.76, they thought that it was going to include a solution to that interference, and it didn't. So now, many people were very disappointed. So then I was reading the feedbacks, and I see a comment from a customer. His name is Ed, and thanks a lot to him that I came across his comment saying, hey, why don't you just add a mute function so that before we turn the pinpointer on, we can just mute the detector and eliminate the interference. And I thought it was a great idea. And actually, I was mad at myself. I'm like, why didn't I think of this before? So I ran to literally the next, day, I ran to my engineering team and I said, hey, I want a mute function. Can you do that? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I want it now. So they hate me sometimes. So within 2 days, we released 2.77, which included that mute function. And also now we added a different, like volume level. Well, actually what we did was we kept the, the original volume, and then we added back in the higher volume from the previous version. And we gave two options to people who were complaining about the volume levels, because now a bunch is saying it's too low. Another group is saying it's too high. So we kept, we put both in there, called it high and low. And we said, pick and choose to make everybody happy. So yeah, that was 2.77. And then, actually, the 2.77, the 2.76, one of the biggest features that it brought was the increase in the ID depths, meaning where the device starts giving an ID for a target. We increased that, and I would say the majority of the people were very happy. But some customers, I would say, especially more the beginners or inexperienced users, now started to complain about the jumpy IDs, especially if they hit a deeper target. The device would start giving jumpy IDs. They didn't like that. They didn't understand it. And we've been trying to explain that that's normal. That's not a defect. Actually all detectors would do that depending on the conditions.
Yes,
if it's
absolutely.
a target at fringe depths and all that, but they didn't like it. They just didn't want to, they would rather see no ID than seeing jumpy IDs, because I think it confused them. So we recently released another update, 2.78, and we said, okay, if you're not happy with the IDs in the 2.77, just update to 2.78, and you're not gonna you're gonna have more stable IDs. And we said if you're happy with your 2.77, you don't need to update to 2.78. So that's kind of the whole summary of the 3 updates we gave during these Corona times.
Right, and personally, my experience with the simplex, I mean, and there again, you worded it very well. I think that the people that are complaining about erratic target IDs at depth is just a lack of experience, because you're going to have that. Pick any manufacturer or model. When you get to fringe depth, target IDs are nowhere near as reliable as the audio is. And I can definitely see that with the simplex. I mean, when you get on a deeper target, even if the IDs are jumping around, that audio is still consistent, and it'll tell you a lot. So, I mean, myself, I don't necessarily see a problem with it.
Josh, I mean, yes. And I think as manufacturers or I think our job as a manufacturer or, more experienced users, I would say, is to educate those that are coming into this hobby. And actually,
Yes.
Our customers have been doing a great job on our Facebook groups and all that, trying to explain all this along, with us, supporting us. See, beginners rely a lot on IDs. That's what I'm seeing, target IDs. And
Yes.
we always tell them, do not rely on IDs. Tones are a key to a metal detector. So it's just the tones give you a lot more information actually on the target than the VDIs, So, but I think it's just easier for the inexperienced users or for the new, for the beginners to just look at the screen, and see a number and say, oh, this is, this target or that target. But like you said, tones are a key, and we always, tell people not to rely on IDs. And interestingly, I got some videos from customers who had, who complained about the IDs, and I said, can you send me a video? And then, I got a few videos, and in a video, they were comparing the simplex to of course, I'm not going to mention a model and name, but to a very famous, model out there in terms of a beginner machine. And showing me on the video that the machine was like showing a very stable IDs. Now, this is what I tell customers. We could easily make the simplex, given stable IDs 100% of the time, no jump here. But then you would never hit targets that simplex hitting at depth. So
right, you're going to lose your depth.
Like when you're comparing models, please, I always tell customers, you're comparing the depth of simplex to a machine. Like that machine wouldn't hit like maybe more than 50% of the targets that simplex is hitting. I'm reading posts on forums, well over like a feet, people are hitting with the simplex, and people are like when they're comparing machines. So they expect everything. They want us to keep that depth, but give stable IDs regardless of what the orientation of the target is or what the depth of the target is. And it's not going to happen, at least, with today's technology.
Yeah, or even what the environmental conditions are, because that can change the performance of the machine as well.
Exactly.
I guess what it is people in our instant gratification society, people want that one perfect machine, and it's just not out there. If there was one perfect machine that did it all, we'd all be using it.
Exactly. That's what I say all the time. Including Nokta Makro machines or any of my competitors' machines, there is no perfect machine out there. And I'm sure we all are, as manufacturers, we all are working to get there, to make that one perfect machine, what it is, Josh, even if we really make that one perfect machine, I'm sure
somebody's not going to be happy. Right, you can't keep them all happy all the time, and unfortunately for the customers that may be sending you videos comparing it to another model of machine or something, they have to stop and remember too, you can't compare apples to oranges. You got to stay in that same price point range, which is another. I was very pleasantly surprised with the simplex, seeing the build quality of it, the way it performs for its price range, and it is, I would say, easily competing with other manufacturers and models out there that are twice its price point.
Yeah, twice or even sometimes 3 times. I have a lot of customers that are, using the highest end machines and, sending me messages saying that they're not using that, higher end model anymore and just using the simplex because it's really keeping up with all the higher end machines. So, Josh, it all down to, I always say this, it all comes down to what somebody, what a customer, expects from a machine. You know what I mean?
Right, yes, and what suits your application.
Exactly.
We've got a caller on, too. Go ahead. Very nice to hear from you tonight, sir.
How you doing? Hey, Dilek, it's Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you been?
Very well. Very, very well.
That's great. I can't say enough about that simplex and what you're doing with it, and bugs in it to fix it one way or the other and trying to please everybody is difficult, but you guys are really, really working on it, and that machine has really stood tall. And
Thank
a little
you.
bit of a fix on the shaft and things like that with some of the things, but you guys are standing behind your product, and that's a great thing, Dilek.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate that. We try. We really try, because I am big on customer satisfaction because that's where it all starts. You know what I mean? Of course, Chuck, you, our valued dealers, distributors, you're all important to us. But I think you would agree as a dealer too, that it all starts with the end user. So our priority is to make them happy. And
Right.
we try our best in that sense. And, because we don't see a reason why not, yes, it's a lot of work. I mean, sometimes people are amazed how fast we do things, but don't forget, it's not because it's so simple to do it, but it's just, we're, like Josh was saying, we're so dedicated, that, it takes a lot of work. And we don't mind putting in as a team, we don't mind putting in the extra hours or, the extra effort to, make them happy. But it does take a lot of work though.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I couldn't
You know-
believe how quick that second update came with the mute function.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, 2 days. And I don't know what time those engineers left the office. Maybe they didn't even leave the office, trying to
you
give
go.
me that update, as quickly as possible. Yeah, so, thank God we have a very, very good team, dedicated people, and, and our company, and I must say this, and I think we're also very lucky to have an owner, that also has the same mentality when it comes to, customer satisfaction and customer happiness. Right. Because so far, unless, I want something really awkward, he has never ever said anything no to, what I request, as the director of sales and marketing. So whenever I say, I need this, I need that, he's like, okay, we'll work on it. No problem. If we can do it, we'll do it. So I think we're also lucky to have an owner like that.
That speaks volumes right there.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit on you. There's people asking. They're all excited. When's the mini horde going to hit the market? They're asking on the chat. That's I thought I'd better call in and forward that question, Dilek.
Okay. The mini horde is in the hands of testers around the world right now, and I'm sure some listeners have been seeing pictures of the mini horde on different groups and all that. So they're in the hands of the testers. I would say we're wrapping up the testing stage, and we got one very good feedback from one of our testers. And we're adding a new function to it based on that feedback because I personally loved it. So the tester requested that we add an auto shutoff function to the detector. And he had a very good point. He's saying since, young kids are going to use this unit, they're going to forget to turn it off. Can you add a auto shutoff function to it? And that's actually what the engineers are working right now.
That is an excellent idea.
And I'm sure they're going to wrap it up pretty quickly. So apart from that one, new function that the engineers are working on, we're pretty much done with it. And we are hoping to release it next month, July. I cannot give an exact date, but that's the goal right now.
It's fine. That gets them going because I'll tell you what, that is a very nice looking little outfit. Is that water resistant or waterproof?
That's waterproof. No.
It's waterproof. This is going to be the first. This is going to be the first fully waterproof submersible up to 3 feet.
Cool.
Like kids metal detector on the market at this price point.
And
boy.
What price point are you guys shooting for with that?
This is all going to be confirmed and finalized, hopefully by Friday this week, because I have some ads that I need to get in for the print, and they mention price. But no, I mean, listen, I don't see a problem mentioning it. I would say not more than $120 US. Retail.
Wow.
Excellent.
Wow. So
Because I
here we go again.
As we get towards Christmas, I'm going to need a few of those for a particular group that we support here.
Right, the Great Metal Detecting Christmas giveaway.
Our
Those
kids'
will
Christmas
go.
giveaway
Those will
come
go
from
over
you.
huge with the kids.
Oh boy. Well, it might go huge with some of them old guys that like to do shallow wading and all. They don't hear well, and you got a smiley face and a frowning face. They can understand that.
Hey,
Sure.
sometimes no further off the ground than I can seem to get. I just may be able to use one.
There you go. So that sounds exciting, and we're looking forward to it, Dilek.
Thank you. And one more news about the mini horde. Now,
Okay.
we're actually going to be releasing 2 versions of this detector. We were planning to release the later version. The second version later, but now I think the engineers are kind of caught up, with the second one too. So we'll probably not, I'm not promising this, but we'll probably release both versions together. Okay. And the second version is ideal for kids, I would say between 8 to 12. Okay. And the differences are, it's longer. It's a longer, in size. It's a bigger coil, and the screen is totally different. We're not using that thumbs up, thumbs down, smiley face like cartoon characters on the other version, on the higher version, because we believe, like an 11-year-old kid, could find it too, childish, whatever. Although I love it myself, I could not with it. I think it's so cute. But, and also we're adding 3 tones in the higher version, and a sensitivity adjustment, because the mini horde doesn't have any sensitivity adjustment, and a volume adjustment. Only 2 levels still. So we're also going to be releasing the MIDI horde, MIDI. So it's going to be the kid.
Nice for the mid-range kids.
Mini and MIDI
There
horde.
you go. That sounds great.
Yeah.
It does, and I gotta say there are, not trying to make light of anyone or anything like that, but I think there are some users out there, if we would just take the VDIs off the machines and put a thumbs up or thumbs down, we'd do a lot better with our finds. we would quite possibly find more, because people put too much faith in those numbers sometimes.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So now we got the mini and the MIDI. What else is coming down the pike for the old guys and gals out there that are out real serious? You can anything about that?
Well, we are getting ready to release the new coils for the simplex, hopefully.
That's right.
Hopefully we're going to go into production, I would say, by end of next week. So I should be announcing them soon. I'll wait for the guys to go into production and stock some. Then they're going to be released. And that's coming up. And what else? Of course, we're working on our simultaneous multi-frequency detector. It has been delayed a couple of months. Because the engineers that were working on the project was not at the factory during the Corona days. They're all back in now, so they resumed, where they left off. So that's in the works, and we just had a meeting about it. I really don't know when when we're gonna release it, but I think after the coils and the mini media horde, and yeah, I think that's gonna be the next one that's gonna be coming up from Nokta Makro.
Cool.
I gotta
and speaking
say,
of coils,
go
when
ahead.
do we expect the extra coils for the simplexes?
Say that again.
She said they're going into production with them hopefully next week, but it'll take some time to get them stocked and everything. So hopefully very
Having a
soon.
little connection problem is all. But that's great. I mean, you guys build a quality machine, and it's becoming very well accepted here. And finding some great material, I'm telling you, these guys are knocking it dead with them. They got them figured out, and they're using them, and they're proving that you build a good unit.
Oh, thank you, Chuck. And speaking of the simplex and the coils, we also released just recently a longer middle shaft, a mid shaft, a longer one for
Right.
taller guys, because what happens is, the tall guys, when you they try to extend it fully, and sometimes it's either not enough, the length is not enough, or when you extend both the upper side and the lower side fully extended, they may get it may be wobbly. So we actually just released a longer middle shaft for the simplex. That's another, that's the other news. And we're also getting ready to release carbon fiber shafts, lower shafts for the simplex,
Nice.
because so many have
Nice.
requested it. So that should be coming up in the in the next couple of months as well.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
That's
So
exciting news.
There's a lot coming down from everybody, and that keeps it on pretty good field of play there. Unfortunately, you were supposed to be here for our hunt tomorrow, and as we know, that got canceled. Now, I have a question. Do you know if they're still planning on the detective ball?
At this point, I don't think anybody could answer that, because if
I didn't know.
if you
I
ask
haven't
them, they would
anything.
say, if you ask them, they would say yes, of course. They want to do it. Everybody wants to do it, but it's just with this Corona situation, nobody knows what's going to happen. Once September comes. So I don't know, Chuck.
Yeah. Well, see, I have a trip scheduled to England the last week of September, and I was expecting maybe to add to it and come to Detective Hall. We get a chat again face to face. And in fact, that's where I first met you, was a couple of years ago at Detective Hall, and that's quite the big event.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and I love it because I get to meet a lot of people face to face, like you said, and catch up. But yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I mean, it's just, like I said, with this coronavirus, nobody knows what's going to happen even next month. Forget about September. We don't know if it's going to be all gone or if it's just going to be worse with the, fall coming, because you hear a lot of different comments from. So I don't know, Chuck.
Man.
Let's just hope.
Hope it clears up a little bit and we can carry on and have our events and keep on digging.
We'll keep our fingers crossed anyway.
Right, we will. We will keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's been very exciting news so far, and definitely interested in seeing how Nokta Makro does with their simultaneous multi-frequency. I am a big fan of the simultaneous multi-frequency machines. They do very well.
Yes, they do. That's just a great thing to have, is the multi-frequency operation, and it helps us in the field. It really does. But then you can, hopefully switch to single frequency operations with the same machine, because there's sometimes that tends to it's just another tool in our toolbox to do well.
Exactly. Exactly. And I see in the chat they're having fun with it. The mini, the midi, the multi.
Right.
I like that. Mini,
It is.
multi.
Yep. So, but, okay, well, Dilek, thank you for calling. I'm going to back out and let you and Josh, maybe somebody else call in and ask you questions. And
Sure.
I'll be talking with you again. We've got a couple things to work on. And by the way, we're looking toward next June, and we're still having Makro. If that comes off, we'll be back out of Galesburg, and we'll have our swing in the summer, and Dilek will be there. She said she would be there as our main sponsor. We just got delayed a while.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it, believe me.
Oh, yeah. You get to come out and see cornfields for miles. And miles. And miles of corn.
Really?
Yeah. That's what central Illinois is, flatlands and miles of corn and soybeans.
Kind of like here in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the heartland. That's where the breadbasket of the world.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Chuck,
so you have a great day, Dilek. I know it's late for you, and I'll get out of here. And there's a lot of people that have been asking questions. I think we got them covered. And you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. It was a pleasure talking to you as always. Okay. Well, I'll be in touch.
Okay. We'll be calling you. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for the call. And I guess that is another interesting question possibly, is that, I mean, for you, when we went live, it was like 3 a.m., So what is a day like for you when you're doing these shows? Because we know you did one with Detect America not too long back either, where same scenario. You know, you're up in the middle of the night. Do you get to go back to bed, or do you just continue on with work, or how does that work for you?
It depends, Josh. It depends. I cannot say, like I always go back to bed, or I don't go back to bed. It depends. But most of the time, I mean, even if I go back to bed, it's not like, I go back to bed and get like 7-8 hours of sleep. No, I mean, I go back to bed and then just like sleep for a few hours, let's say like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and then get up and, go to work. So, it depends on how tired I am. I don't know. I cannot really answer that. But, like I said, I go back to bed, get 2-3 hours of sleep, and then, then continue. See, I don't like sleeping, so I don't really have a problem. I mean, some people love to sleep. I don't like to sleep. Like, I always, like all my life, since I was a, like young, kid, I always thought sleeping was a waste of time, because I think we're all going to sleep for a long time when we die. So why waste the time when we are alive? That's how I think.
I can see that, because you seem to be a person that absolutely likes to keep on the move.
Oh, yeah. I'm a very energetic person, and, I can get pretty, like sometimes too excited, and, or sometimes too aggressive. And I think it's just my character. So, my character and sleep, they don't get along well.
No, absolutely not with a firecracker personality like yours. It just, I don't think that's gonna work out real well. I mean, like I said, as we started the show, anytime we see your go live videos, or anytime we see video footage of you at different events, be it Detectival or an event here in the States or anything like that, you're just always ready to go. It's like, good grief, does she not ever sleep? I mean, you would think you have to run out of energy at some point.
I'm a human being too, and I do run out of energy. But I cannot really say that. I don't know. You would barely like see me or hear me saying, "Oh, I'm very tired." You know what I mean? Like, many people around me, like at work, like every day, I hear people say, "No, I'm so tired. I'm so tired," and I just don't feel that way. You know what I mean? Like I said, part of it is my character, and part of it is, I think, the fact that, like, when it comes to my work, Nokta Makro, and I always say this, like, to me, it's not work only. You know, it's not like, to me, it's not, for me, it's not only work where I, make money. To me, it's like my child that I take so much pride in. I think that's what it is all about. That's why, I get so like energetic and I get so hyper and so sometimes like aggressive because like it's like, your own child, you see it grow up. So to me, it's like seeing Nokta Makro grow. It's like seeing my child growing up. And, and when, it succeeds, it's like you take so much pride in, just like, you would be so proud as a parent when you see your child succeed in life. I think that's what it's all about, Josh, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And you have invested quite a bit of time and effort into doing what you do for Nokta Makro and promoting and marketing and everything. And that's one of the great things, I think, why listeners enjoy to hear from you so much, whether it's here or Detect America or any of the other shows that you do, is because when you are talking about Nokta Makro and when you are talking about the products and the events and things coming up, the passion and the energy is conveyed. It's there in your voice. It's almost contagious.
Thank you. Well, sometimes I get concerned that I'm too many shows and people are gonna get sick of hearing Nokta Makro and sick of hearing Dilek saying the same things over and over again. So that's a concern to me, to be honest with you, especially lately. Now I'm gonna be on another show soon and whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, actually, you expressed it very well. Yeah, I've been working with for Nokta Makro for 10 years now. And interestingly, a couple of years ago, when I came to US I think it was for a dealer conference, one of the guys, I don't remember who it was, walked up to me and said, "Oh, so you are the sister." And I didn't understand what he meant. I'm like, "What do you mean?" "So you are the sister, right?" He goes to me. I'm like, "Sister of who?" He's like, "The owner." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not his sister." He's like, "So what are you?" I'm like, "Well, I'm an employee." I run their sales and marketing. He's like, "That's all?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "So, but then, like," he goes to me, "So many people think that you're like that I'm a shareholder, that, I'm the sister," or no, it's none of that. I am just an employee hired by the company to run their sales and marketing. It's just, it's just that I've been with them for so long and, really helped a lot to make the company grow and the brands grow and all that, that, like I said, now it's part of like my life, a big part of my life.
Yeah, like a second family, so to speak.
Exactly. And like you said, this growth, yes, there's a big pride factor involved for us. And I always say this because, Josh, I mean, go only a few years back. We're not talking about 10 years, only let's say like 4 years ago. If you asked who Nokta Makro was, most of the people would have no idea. They had never heard of us.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people would have been like, "Nokta who?"
Yeah, exactly. Who, what? Like even our competitors, only a few years ago, if you asked about Nokta Makro to them, they would either make funny faces, like, who are they? They're not a competitor, or had no idea who we were. But now, today, I felt so proud only a few weeks ago. One of our big competitors in the US, when they were doing a live release broadcast of their, new machine coming up, and they were comparing it to our product. So I felt so proud. I'm like, okay, now my competitor admits that I'm a competitor for them. And to me, this was a lot to the industry and to everybody. And it's just, now we are a player in this industry. And I think along with myself, worked really hard to get where we are today. And of course, with the support of our valued end users, that's, we owe a lot to them in that sense.
Well, and it can clearly be seen, say, in just as short of a time frame as, say, the last 3 or 4 years, we have seen Nokta Makro grow in leaps and bounds, not only in the quality and versatility of their equipment, but also in the popularity and their worldwide footprint, establishing themselves as a serious competitor on the market, where some manufacturers may have originally thought, I'm not worried about them. Now they're taking notice.
Yeah.
And that, I would think from the perspective of Nokta Makro, not only is that kind of a compliment for you guys, but it's also got to be a bit flattering too.
Yeah. And listen, this is all good,
Absolutely.
Because, like I mentioned the owner of the company before, and I'm going to mention him again. Like, he's very big on competition. When I go to him with news, our competitor just announced this, or our competitor is coming up with this product, or whenever I talk about competition, this is what he always says. He's like, this is all good for this industry. This is all good. It's good that they're coming out with a new product. It's good that, he's very big in competition. He really believes that it will, it's going to take this industry to the next level. And I think the same way. So, we have to compete, but I'm going to say something here. Speaking of competition, this is what I always tell our customers or end users. You please do not compete with each other, with your machines, okay? Just have respect for each other and let everybody enjoy whatever they want to swing, okay? It's our job to compete, the manufacturers. And at the end of the day, you guys will benefit from it the most, because we're going to strive to come out with better and better products at more affordable prices with better features. And at the end, you are going to benefit. But please don't compete, among yourselves, because sometimes I see very sad comments and, unfortunate comments, made towards a brand and people getting into arguments. There's really no need for that. Let us compete and you guys enjoy. You just pick whatever suits your needs and whatever you like the most. And today you may be swinging a Nokta Makro machine, and the next year my competitor, may release a machine that you like better. You can swing that, and you don't have to, swing one brand. And, this is not like, supporting, I always say this, football, team or a soccer team, you know what I mean? So, that's what I wanted to say, speaking of competition.
Well, and you're absolutely right, because it does get disappointing to see those remarks at times. And like I tell people, they have to remember, what happened to let's just get out there and have fun? At the end of the day, it shouldn't matter what manufacturer's hat you're wearing, or... You got me now?
Yeah, I lost you for a few seconds there.
But yeah, they just have to find what works for them, and, not maybe discriminate would be a bit strong of a word, but not discriminate against the other individual just because they don't have the same preferences or whatever.
Exactly. And you know what? Yeah, I agree with you. And this is what I always tell people, that this is a hobby. A hobby means that, you enjoy it, but when people get into all these arguments, it gets really frustrating, and a hobby should not be frustrating people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
where is the fun then?
And the whole goal of Detectors should be to actually pass this hobby on to the next generation and, actually make this industry bigger. Why? Because we have all seen what happened with the Corona days, that, everybody had to be isolated from each other. And now I'm thinking, what is better than metal detecting, as a hobby, that you can enjoy away from crowds? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, many of us prefer to enjoy it away from crowds.
Yeah. So, and now we want to also share this hobby, with our kids. So it's a great, actually, hobby that you can do as a family. And that's why we want our, kids to enjoy this too. And that was the whole reason behind the mini horde, because we said, let's bring out a machine, a real detector, not a toy in terms of its quality or of its, build. Let's bring out a real metal detector that a kid enjoys, so that, they can join their dad or mom and, you know what I mean, and enjoy this hobby all together, and we grow this industry. So there is really no need to, take sides and be fans of a brand. And, there's nothing wrong to, like a brand and, choose a brand or prefer a brand, but don't take it to the extreme levels, please.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, leave the competition to the manufacturers, because in the end, we all win out in the field.
Yeah.
With the competition that the manufacturers are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one great thing that I can say about the simplex. The release of the simplex, I think, made the manufacturers pay attention, because Nokta Makro set the bar with that machine, putting so many good features into a machine at a price point that low, I guess you could say.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's price point $254. I can say this with 100%, confidence, and I am personally 100% behind this claim that it's unrivaled. There is nothing out there at $254, sold in the USA, that can come really near in terms of its features or depth or performance. And I think we set a good bar in the industry, and now all the manufacturers are gonna follow through, and at the end the end users will be very happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree. When I first heard that the simplex was going to be coming out, I'm like, really? It's these features in that price point? This I gotta see, because no other manufacturer has been able to even come close to that. And you guys pulled it off with just flying colors. We've got a good friend on with us. How is it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
All right.
Hi, Dilek.
Hi, who is this?
Steve.
You don't
Suzuki.
remember me? Come on. How about in Florida at DEMA?
Right. How can people forget you?
It'll clue in who I am.
Right.
Tell her we met at Calico, and then you came to DEMA to see me.
It should be her favorite dive detectorist.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good. I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good.
How have you been during these Corona days?
I'm doing great. I have been working a lot, but I'm finally getting back into the water.
I saw that.
That's cool. Have you been using the pulse dive?
Of course, it's beautiful.
Oh. I'm like,
It's beautiful.
the voice
I have to
sounds
tell
so
everybody, I'm not going to stay on long, but I have to tell everybody, if you haven't met this lady, she's absolutely amazing. She's like such an amazing person for the company, and she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet, and her product is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
don't
I really
think-
appreciate that.
I don't think they
if I
could
was
have picked a
person-
better person for her position.
if I were a person who who blushed, I definitely would right now, but I don't blush.
I had the opportunity. I was down in Florida at the diving conference called DEMA every year, and I was promoting my book. And I was invited to Calico by my good friend Mark Tominski, and that's when I met her. And as soon as she came out of the office, I thought, oh, now that's a nice person. I was like, and she was so enthused about my dive detecting and what I do, and she, had product with her, and she showed it to me. And you guys know Dwight. Dwight was there from the New Age Goonies.
Right.
These guys are in the water, and they use her product, and just the nicest person you could ever meet. And then she came to DEMA with the diving conference, and they were doing, they had their product there. They were showing, people were crowded around. They loved it. And I had to, nestle my way through the crowd to come and see her. She's like a little rock star, but I got a chance to come and see her, and we spent some time together. So I just wanted to do a quick call. One of my favorite people on one of my favorite shows tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, listen, do you know if the DEMA show is going to happen this fall, or that they don't, nobody knows yet?
I don't think so. Because I'm supposed to release my new book at this DEMA, and my understanding is, I don't know if it's officially been canceled, but I mean, along with everything else that's been canceled because of this crazy thing, I'm assuming that it's going to be canceled.
Well, it is officially. We should get in contact with one another, because I'd love to hear about the new book when it comes out. So we're going to have to get you scheduled.
Absolutely. So anyways, I don't want to take up your time. I just got home from work, sitting on the couch, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to hear this podcast, because I know I came in a little late, but two of my favorite people on here tonight. So I'm going to let you guys go. And just, again, anybody listening, if you really want to know a great person and a great product, she's on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, listen, I'll be in touch with you. I know, I haven't contacted you lately. I've been so busy with the kids detector and everything going on. But, I'll be contacting you soon and give you some more news.
I'm not hard to find. Josh knows how to get me.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, God bless you guys. You guys have a great night, okay?
Very good to hear
thank you
from
so
you,
much for the
Steve.
kind
Stay
words.
Yeah,
safe.
you too, buddy. Okay, bye-bye.
And there again, he's another person, definitely a great person to have the opportunity to meet. And I gotta say, that's one of the things I was looking forward to, if the situation hadn't arisen, was meeting you this year in person at the I&I hunt. But I guess we'll have to put that off to next year.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen, as long as we're all, healthy, I always believe that there is a reason for everything, so as long as we're all healthy,
Exactly.
doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's the important part. It definitely is. And you have had just, wow, I mean, there were a number of announcements that I wasn't even expecting, that you could say I caught the news right along with everybody else, but it's been very, very exciting news. And I guess the news gets better for listeners too, because they'll want to stay tuned to the Beyond Sight and Sound page, because Dilek has very, very generously offered to offer up a mini horde as a giveaway, but given the time restraints and everything, thought it'd be better off to run it on the page like we did the Pulse Dive last year that she very generously donated. And that will also give time for them to get things finished up with production, I suppose you could say.
Yeah. Once the product is officially released and, announced and released and we start shipping, I'll be more than happy to ship a mini horde to the winner. But I will make a small request here. Like whoever signs up for this, if you do not have a kid, like either, your child, or it could be your grandson, your child, your nephew, whatever that you want to bring into the hobby, or that is already, like detecting. I would say please do not sign up. I really want this little, kids detector to go to a kid that's going to be, like very excited to hunt along, with their dad or their grandpa. So, yeah. So please, that's one little request I'm going to make.
And that is something that we try to do, is we do try to request that the winner of the contest that we do off of the page like that at least send in a photo. That way we see that they've received the prize and everything, and we would really love to see that with a kid. That way then we know it goes to a kid, and who knows, you guys may even want to post it on your Facebook page or something.
Sure. I would be more than happy to do that.
And I think that would be a really great way to do it. We'll just, we'll kind of follow in the footsteps, so to speak, or similar footsteps as Detect America, because I'm sure that they mentioned something kind of along those lines as well, that they would really like to see that go to a kid. And while we're at it, what is the approximate age range, you think, of the mini horde?
The mini horde, I think, would be suitable for kids. I would say between 4 to 8, 9. And the midi horde, the upper version, would be suitable for kids between, I would say 8, 9 to, let's say, 12 years old. And then after that, we, like I always said, I think then after 12, they can pretty much swing the simplex.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I would love to give away the mini horde. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can give away a midi horde, instead, but it's just, I want this, little cute detector with those cartoon, characters and all that to go into the hands of young detectors.
Right. And I shared a video earlier today on the Beyond Sight and Sound page that I believe was filmed somewhere back in September, of you introducing the mini horde and mentioning that we want the hobby to continue with the younger generation. And I encourage people to watch that video, because the way you presented that about getting the hobby to carry on with the younger generation was presented so well. I couldn't have worded it any better. It was very, very well done.
Thank you, Josh. I mean, I have a small kid myself. I have a daughter who's 7 years old. And if you look at this, younger generation today, they're hooked on, tablets, cell phones,
Video
social
games.
media, internet. Yes, we all are in a way, and it's just, and it's a necessity maybe, but then again, we have to get them, away from tablets and, phones and all this, and kind of encourage them to go out there to the nature and to do something else. Because, personally, yes, internet is good, social media, technology, and all that, but we shouldn't really lose the other side of us. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I have to agree wholeheartedly. A lot of times kids are so wrapped up in the technology that they forget there's a world full of adventure and experience and excitement right outside the door.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, that's the whole idea behind the mini horde. And I hope it's going to be, and I hope our little customers will enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to receiving their feedbacks. Although I did get many feedbacks from the little testers of the mini horde. Yeah, so I'll be more than happy to make a young detectorist happy with this detector.
Nice. Very, very nice. And also, people can look forward to hearing more on this. I want to say, I hope I don't get the date wrong. I believe it is the 29th of this month over on Detect America, where they will also be giving away a mini horde.
Yes, correct.
Nice. So it's kind of two chances to win, in a sense.
Yes, definitely. And I may be talking more about the product on that show too. Yeah, I can even actually show the product probably more in detail at that show.
Right.
So, just tune in and see the mini horde more closely. I'll try my best to bring it on the show. And actually, we're going to be shooting a commercial for the mini horde this Friday and Monday are the video shoots of the commercial of the product. So that's going to be coming up too, where people actually can see some of the features and of the product. And yeah, on Detect America show as well, I will try my best to bring one and show there.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to that because you guys did such a good job with the commercial for the Simplex. That was a very entertaining commercial.
Oh, thank you. It's the same agency that I'm working with. I think they've done a great job.
They are.
I wrote the, I would say, so like the scenario, so to say. And I think, they did a pretty good job in terms of putting it into action. And now I wrote a little scenario for the mini horde commercial. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that video myself. So I'm going to be at 2 video shoots this Friday and Monday to get that done. And hopefully within a few weeks, we should be rolling it out on, on our website and on our Facebook group and all that.
Nice. Well, I look forward to that, and I will definitely do what I can to share it. And as I'm sure Frank and Steve over at Detect America will too.
Thank you.
It's just wow. You don't slow down.
I don't like to slow it down.
Yes, that's blatantly obvious.
You know what? One of my friends used to tell me. A friend of mine, when I was living in the U.S., used to say, "Dilek, you're one person that doesn't know the meaning of the word relax."
Yeah, definitely. Although, realistically, though, it's fun. It's fun for you. Yes,
definitely. By the way, I'm not following the chat. If there are any questions, because, I would, I like answering questions as much as I can. And are there any questions in the chat that you're seeing while I'm, on the show that I can answer quickly?
Not that I have seen recently, but I do know that Frank and Steve from Detect America are both in the chat, and if there are any questions in there, they may like to maybe bring them up when you're on with them on the 29th.
Okay.
Because I know Frank has had some experience with the mini horde already. The way it sounds, he says his back's a little sore from being leaned over it trying to use it, but says it works very well. He's impressed so far from the way I understand it.
Yeah. Yes, we sent it to Frank for testing, and after I sent it to him, I messaged them and I said, "Hey, listen, Frank, you have to put your experience aside and expectations when you're testing. Don't forget, it's a child detector. It's a kid's detector."
Right. Don't forget, we're testing this or we're experiencing this from a child's perspective.
Exactly, because I don't remember who. But one of the testers said, "Oh, could you make it deeper?" And I'm like, "Hey, yes, we could, but we don't want to make it deeper. How deep can a child really dig?" And young kids, they don't have a long span of attention. You know what I mean? They get more deeply. So you don't want them to be digging, a foot down, to find something.
Right, because once it starts to seem like work for them, they're not enjoying it as much.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have to agree there, definitely. But from what we've seen, especially recently with the simplex, I'm sure that the mini horde is going to be another smashing success, hopefully.
Hopefully. I think, design, and its build quality and the fact that it's actually fully waterproof, I think, is going to be very attractive for the parents, especially because, you don't want to be buying a metal detector for your kid and, they drop it in the mud or on the beach in the water, and then, there goes your money out the door.
Right.
And, kids love to play, in the water, on the beach or in the mud, whatever. So, so this is a product that they can just buy, just like their own detector, with full warranty and everything, and not worry about their kids, dropping it in the water or, or breaking it very easily because of its build quality, because it's really not any different in terms of its build quality than our other detectors, to be honest with you.
And will this come with a fairly standard warranty like we've seen with the other Nokta Makro machines?
Full 2 years warranty, just like any other detector.
Wow. Yeah. At that price point and the customer support that's behind it, I think people are going to be very happy. You can't beat that. I mean, we're talking about a machine that's in the same price range as a pinpointer.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that amazing?
It is. I mean, you've set the bar again, I do believe.
And one other thing we're doing, I want to mention, is we're also putting together a little kit, and I call it the cool kit, mini horde cool kit. This is going to be for the mini horde only, not the upper version, where we are including a scent scoop and, a little scent scoop, a scent sifter, and 2 sets of stickers for boys and girls, okay? And where they can customize their mini horde, their screen. It's like a screen decal, and their shaft. So in pink and blue colors, 2 sets each. But the stickers will not be like a waterproof, where if they put it in the water with the stickers, within time, they will come off or wear off, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, and that's going to be another, product that we're going to be, not another product, but like a kit that we're going to be releasing for the mini horde
An
to
accessory,
kids to
kind of.
enjoy it even more.
Right, gives them the opportunity to kind of customize the machine themselves.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, I know that we have had you on for quite some time. We should probably be thinking about getting out of here, but before we go, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I don't know. Not really, Josh. As always, it was a pleasure, being on your show. Thanks for inviting me. And to all the listeners out there, we love you guys. As Nokta Makro, we love our customers. And I want to thank you once again for taking us where we are today. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your trust. And we're going to continue to give you better products at more affordable prices. And this is all I'm going to say. No matter how big we get, we're all going to stay small in front of you guys, so to say, if you know what I mean. Okay?
Very, very nice. Very well put. Definitely. Hang in there with me for a few minutes and we'll get on out of here. For everyone else, if you enjoyed the show, I know I certainly did, and certainly appreciate Dilek taking the time to sit down with us this morning, evening. Still not sure what to call that. But if you enjoyed the show, you can throw us a like. You can follow us here on Spreaker, iHeart, iTunes, YouTube. We're all over the place. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure and tune in to Detect America on the 29th, where she will also be over there talking about the mini horde and who knows what other news, and giving away a mini horde there as well. So it has definitely been a pleasure. Hang in there with me. We'll get on out of here. For everyone else, have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you on the next one.